Hey, this is Brother Jeff with eLearning Brothers, and I just wanted to walk you through one of the new Storyline games, the Shootout game. If you navigate to the Storyline games, click on the Shootouts option, and it will take you to a preview of the Shootout. You can go ahead and play the Shootout game here to see what it's like before you download it. You can see if I hit start, it just goes through a series of questions. If I get it correct, I get a goal there. If I get it incorrect, then it gets blocked by the goalie there, and it just goes through the series of questions, getting points for the correct answer and getting or not getting points for incorrect answers. And also, for with every incorrect or correct, you get correct feedback or incorrect feedback, which also, because it's in Storyline, also works on the iPad. So you can see here I have an iPad open with the Shootout game. I'm going to go ahead and launch it here. And you can see it looks exactly the same as it would on the regular browser. So I get the same start screen, same questions. If I go ahead and answer an incorrect question, it gets blocked by the goalie. If I answer a correct question, I make a goal and get some points for that. So I'm going to walk you through how to get started with this game. So once you've downloaded the file, you'll see that file on your desktop. And you can see here, let me go to my desktop. I can see the file right there. All I would have to do is double click on that file, and then it adds it to my template library within Storyline. Now, if I don't see it, you can select the drop-down box, and amongst all of the other eLearning Brothers games that you may have downloaded from the library, you should see the Shootout one there. Just select that one, and it takes a second to show up, but once you have that selected, go ahead and hit import into your course. Now, if you're adding a new slide, you can just right-click over on the timeline and go to New Slide, and then it will pull up with Insert Slides, and you can select from one of those templates, basic layouts, quizzing, or anything like that. So the very first screen that you see in the Shootout game is some instructions, some standard instructions for the Shootout game. There's a couple of variables that you can change to begin with. So if I click on the Variables button on the right-hand side, let's go through this real quick, where you can see that the first two variables is the Shootout add points per question, and then the Shootout number of questions. Now, the add points per question is the number of questions or the number of points that get added per correct question. Now, in this game, you don't get deducted points if you get it wrong, but this is the number of points that you get every time you get a correct question. So I can just come over to the default value and then go ahead and just enter in whatever point value that I want, if I only want 10 points per question or anything like that. And then the next variable is the Shootout number of questions. Now, this is the number of questions that you want to ask. You can go up to 20 questions, but you don't have to use all 20 questions. If you want to just use 5, go ahead and type in 5 there. Now, with all of the other, similar to all of the other Storyline games, don't change any of the variables that starts with the letter Z. If you do that, you may run into some functionality problems, but keep that in mind. Just change the ones that don't start with the letter Z, that start with just Shootout there. So after you've changed your variables, the next thing you do is just go throughout the different layers and change the different text or graphics, whatever you want. So I can come to my instructions. There's really not much else to do on the intro page, but I can come to my instructions, and all I have to do is type in the instructions title here, the header, and then also the instruction text, and type in whatever I want for the game, for the learner to keep in mind as they're going throughout the game. Now, the next thing is the questions. All I have to do is type out in each of these different options. I just go ahead and type in what I want to be for the different options. If I only want there to be 2 different options, I can just remove one of those off stage, or remove 2 of them off stage, or anything like that. Now, from here, I would come over to the triggers on the right-hand side, and this is where I would change if it is correct or if it is incorrect. You'll notice that option A right here over on the trigger is set to be correct, so it goes to question 1 correct. Now, if I'm going to change this to be incorrect, I just select the drop-down box over in Storyline here to go to question 1 incorrect. Now, I then have to go into one of these other options and select the drop-down box and change that to go to question 1 correct. That's all I have to do after I change out the text. Just go through and match up which one is correct and which ones go to the incorrect, and then change the question header down at the bottom, and then also the question text. After I've done that, I can then come to the question 1 correct and change out the question 1 correct label, the question 1 correct text there, and then go on to the incorrect as well. So once I finish question 1, from here I just go on to question 2, repeating the same thing that I did with question 1. At the end of it, you can then skip. If you're only going to ask 5 questions, just go through 5 questions there. And then at the end, you can skip back to the results. And this is the congratulations, completion. Go ahead and change out the label here, the text as well. And then the quiz header, the quiz results, this will show the percentage of how the learner did at the end of the game. And from here, you can go ahead and start inserting more games. If I click on New Slide, I can start inserting more eLearning Brothers templates, games into my course, or start adding other pages around this game as well. Well, that's it for the shootout game. Hopefully that was helpful.